What's clapping, everybody? Welcome to Anime Intervention. I am your host, BMG, here with my co host, Clean Bean. What's clapping?
Not much.
It's cold.
It's straight up
It's
brick.
been really cold lately. We're up here in New York, and it's been a mission just to survive out here. But we in the warmth of the house. Everything's fine now. So we're gonna record this episode and call it a day. We are recording specifically for anime facts and potential anime facts. And the reason why I say potential is because I want to get your opinion, your take on whether or not these facts are actual facts or they're just opinions. Um, I think that's a pretty sound episode. That's why I brought up the idea to you. I don't know if you agree with it. Do you?
I mean, yeah, it just depends on
What
what
it is, right?
we're talking about. Like, if it's based off a show, like, oh, I didn't like how this character did this. Like, yeah, obviously an opinion, but we're talking about like, oh, what happens to have the most, I don't know, screen time running wise, or who happens to have the most, like for a certain character, like a show, like, oh, this Luffy has the most screen time in One Piece, like stuff like
Well,
that.
stuff like that, which like is factual, but it's like not. So the good thing is that I don't have any crazy stats that I'm just gonna throw into your face, be like, hey, is this true or false? Because it's gonna be like just absurd just thinking about it. It's like who has the most screen time? You have to think about, for example, Luffy. Does he really have the most screen time in all of One Piece? Who knows? It could be Zoro. I don't know. But that's like a bit of a stretch because it's like 1,000 episodes and almost what 1,200 episodes of One Piece. Trying to guess that, wild.
Yeah, I ain't thinking that hard. My brain's kind of fried.
Yeah, no, no, screw that. So I do have one here that is kind of more productive based. So this is off the production side of things, and I wanted to hear your take. Right. So you know that Attack on Titans, it was animated by, I think it was Wilt Studios or Wit Studios,
With studios,
Wit
yeah.
Studios, all the way back when it first came out. Right. This was
Hmm.
like the first 3 seasons, but the fourth season was taken over by Mappa. Now, if you're Mappa, Mappa's got a pretty solid reputation for animating some of the best animations of all time. I'm just going to say it here because it's true. You know, that they have the pedigree. So when they were taking on season four, I guess people, they were like, all right, yeah, Mappa's got this in the bag. But there was a few things that happened in the process, right, for the production. They had to change the way it was animated specifically because of how they work and how demanding the animation was for Attack on Titan.
It was pretty demanding,
It
I
was
will
it
say.
was insanely demanding. Now the lines, I don't know if you remember some of the faces in Attack on Titan, the way they were drawn with the lines and everything like that. Some of those designs for those faces had to be sort of not really dropped, but sort of decreased in value only because they need to focus more on the high maneuver scenes. You're using ODM gear, you're flying all over the place. There's a lot of really high production shots that have to be made, and you can't always have like the most detailed face or detailed, I guess, character amidst all of that. You have to, cut certain things here and there. But the reason why, the reason why they had to so-called lower the quality, which is really not true, it's still good quality, was because, okay, the animators, the people who drew it,
Mm.
were reporting injuries with their hands, their wrists, carpal tunnel, like actual injuries because of how demanding the drawing is.
You see, Mappa. This is what you do. This is exactly what you do.
But this is, but
Hmm.
this is a positive. That's why they had to do it though.
Yeah, yeah. That is what they
I
had to
mean,
do.
if you really think about it, like artists in general, I feel like they have to deal with demand and crunch and time constraints that force them to speed along when it's just not going to work. I mean, it does, but if you end up breaking your wrists in the process.
It's not gonna be good. Like, you're gonna end up ruining your career just for one series when you don't know exactly how many projects you're going to do in your career. Um, I kind of look at it like this.
Mhm.
I think that's definitely some truth to it, 100%.
Oh, yep.
Definitely, like, oh, there's been cramps or carpal tunnel, because I've seen people that where they had to have a diagnosis from a doctor and they get gloves specifically to help them with carpal tunnel. like my coworker has dealt with this before,
Mhm.
and I've seen them like, shoot, you actually have the gloves like attached to like your bag or like to like your pocket with you everywhere you go. And I was like, wow, it can be really severe, like especially when it comes to handling certain things. Like, and some of them like can't even pick up boxes like that
Mhm.
anymore. Or they can't draw or like use utensil without using those gloves because of how severe that condition can be. So I do agree that that's definitely some truth to it, and I don't think this is a made up fact. It's definitely got some like some decent, yeah, truth.
Yeah, you are correct. This is 100% the truth. I mean, they wanted animators to have more longevity, because at the end of the day, if your animators end up getting it, how are you going to get the show out, Like, and that actually leads me to my next potential fact or false, true or false.
Hmm.
Budget cuts don't reduce animation. Is
Budget
that true or
cuts.
false? Budget cuts don't reduce animation, or I guess they do. What do you think?
Hmm. Honestly, I'm not even 100% sure. Like, I guess in a way, yes, for sure, you can say budget cuts can reduce animation, but I don't understand the whole point of dropping animation like that, in my opinion. Like, I never, I get it if, you're trying to rush a product along and you want it to get out fast and to be, hard hitting. But like, if you've had like animation from before that's done well, why not replicate the same exact thing if it can be done so effectively and then you get a good response from your fans? I'm not asking for the animation to be 100% perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I'm asking for you to be consistent, be consistent with yourself. Like One Punch Man, y'all not consistent as hell. Y'all not. Come on. No offense to the animators, but like come on now. Like what was that? That was a bit of a downgrade. I'm
It,
not gonna lie to you. Like if you broke down why, maybe I've had a better understanding. But like I'm looking at him like, why didn't you just do the animation from even season two? Like that could have been,
Better than
decent.
season three, Loki.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people were saying, season two was for the same reason. The animation, the quality, obviously there was a change and everything, but just from the season two, watching that and comparing it to season one, they were like, all right, I could see where everything just had a downhill spiral. And I do think that the third season is worse in terms of that, in terms of animation, in terms of storyline one to one. It's matching the manga, no doubt about that, because I read the manga and I see everything that happened in the story, the plot, it's all there. But the how it's translated to animation is the problem. So if you watch, just bro, don't watch the show, just read it, just read it. It's probably the best bet.
It's just there's certain scenes in there that aren't really um it's not making the scene its own. It's like making its own. It's not like taking from the manga and trying to encapsulate what it meant or what this page is. There's certain pages in manga that paints a scene and it's supposed to be done a certain way because of that scene,
Mhm.
whether it's to display emotion or just the triumph of a main character or the death of a character. We think about those things because it sets the picture, it sets the scene. You set a scene, you can't just solely rely on just the plot itself or the depth itself to go ahead and carry it. You want it to have an effect. You want it to hit you where it hurts. That's why we have visuals. That's why we also have music and OSTs.
I do think those OSTs. We had this conversation a couple episodes back about how important OSTs are in terms of just soundtrack kind of going along with everything that's happening in the scene. Like imagine, and people say this all the time. You scroll through. You ever see those reels when you're scrolling through? And it could be anything. And you see like this one scene from a movie, like Kill Bill, for example, where Kill Bill is literally killing everybody, and
Mm,
all you have to do is change the music and put on like a different song, and all of a sudden it does the context and everything is just completely different. A scary
yes.
movie could be less scary if you were to just put on some like pop music or something. It's kind of like that, but I see what animation. It kind of has that same feel when you're translating the manga to animation. Um, that tone that was in the manga, you want to also kind of translate that as well. And I think the animation is a part of that. So if it's not matching or if it's all inconsistent, it's I say it's hard to kind of just gauge and really say that this was either one to one or this had done the manga justice.
100%. Like obviously there's a technique where you're using sound that completely is the opposite of the tone and what's happening within a certain scene. If it's done on purpose and like that's how the author intended it, like yeah, by all means, go ahead and do that because that in itself already puts a mark on you, like making an impact, putting emphasis on the scene. I just need a little more from One Punch Man in that department. That's really all I'm asking for, honestly.
You don't think that, according to the so-called fact that I listed here, you don't think that that's any relation to what's going on with them, right?
I don't really think so.
Well, that's my point here, and that's why I'm bringing it up because budget cuts they don't reduce animation. The only thing that they do reduce, well, okay, let me clarify because obviously budget matters. It's not as if you're going to be an animator and not get money, not get paid, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But in terms of like pumping more money at something is not going to make it more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a inspiration that also comes from the animators, the ones who are drawing it out, and they have to bring that to life. And if you don't see that inspiration, then it's like, oh, well, we're screwed now.
Oh,
And I think that's what's going on here because if you have budget cuts, the only thing that's probably going to get cut is probably those extra revisions, the extra oomph. You know, I'm sure that the animators they don't just draw it out, have it animated, and call it a day. They have to go through it. They have to review it. There's probably other processes that are included with animation. I'm not an animator. I'm not familiar with that, but I know for sure, damn well that animators are not just drawing it and just handing it off. We're
yeah.
good.
No.
No, there's got to be more. There's probably a redraw. There's probably other things that happen within the process, and that could be related to budget. But at the end of the day, budget's not really the deciding factor for something being beautifully drawn or beautifully, you know, rendered onto animated
Mm,
screen. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
so yeah, I mean, it's like a hit or miss. It's kind of like one of those gray area comments.
Yeah, I'm not really known to like understand that whole aspect of like the anime scene specifically, but just I don't know. I attempt to try to understand what they're going through, and at least try to empathize with them a little bit. So to each their own. Mm.
So let me ask you this. This is on the next one. So Cowboy Bebop, you know Spike Spiegel, obviously. I'm pretty sure most people do. All right. Do you,
Mm.
do you think that his fighting style was derived from anything in real life? Or do you think it was just like, a fighting style they kind of just introduced and they created themselves within the animation and within the, yeah,
I mean, it definitely looks familiar. Sorry, sounds familiar. It definitely
looks
looks
familiar, right?
familiar.
I didn't
Um,
know this until I found it out. And I thought it was, I was like, wait, are you serious? But it is based off of a real fighting style. And it's based off of Bruce Lee's fighting style.
okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I
That makes sense.
and I had to like I looked back at some of the clips and I was like, wait, I see it. You know what I mean? And if you've seen Bruce Lee fight, like you've noticed a couple things here and there, but like if you really like compare them like left and right, you're like, oh, hold on a second. I see what the animators were cooking here, and
Mm.
his fighting style specifically. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but yeah, I want to correct me in the comments on how to pronounce it. But it says Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do.
Yes, that is the philosophy-driven martial art. It's a martial art that is like it's not a rigid form. It's more flowy. It's kind of like react instinctively and not.
Hold
You know what I'm
on.
saying? Yeah,
Okay.
react instinctively and not necessarily using forms to derive all your fighting moves. It's more like whatever happens causes your
Your
moves,
moves.
kind of thing. Yeah, and it's kind of similar to his fighting style. Like Spike Spiegel, well, not just his fighting style, but his like mindset. His mindset is kind of flowy. It's kind of just going with the flow. He doesn't have anything to lose, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like he is the epitome of flowing water,
Like water. Like a current.
like a current. Bruce Lee.
I
So,
I mean, yeah, that is the one thing I did notice about his fighting style. Like he, being able to manipulate people's energy or like their force and then use it against them in a way, that has always been one of my favorite types of fighting styles, because it shows you how slick and slithery people can be. Also, it's actually realistic in life, like especially when you look at when restraining people.
Mm.
Restraints, they usually can happen in moments that you least expect it, either from behind or like at a point where they get attacked. And the first thing that they're usually doing in a restraint when someone's getting aggressive is they get attacked, and before they, the attack, you know, makes impact, they're usually redirecting the energy some way, shape, or form. Whether you're blocking it, coming up and then hooking underneath, or like such and such, or maybe a kick. Like you're basically doing a lot to redirect that energy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah, it's
Well,
cool as fuck. Yeah, it's cool as fuck.
you would know because you're the one who actually learned. You did some training for that, so I think
I did.
so.
I did.
I ain't trying to get into any fights with this guy. Restraints sound dangerous, but I mean that's the best way to de-escalate a situation. To restrain somebody. But that's very similar. Like you're saying, redirecting energy. That's very similar.
Very similar. Like it's almost as if you have to keep in tabs with your balance and then also where someone else is. Like you have to know where a certain punch is landing or where a certain kick is landing or what their intention. Okay. And it's hard to guess intention, but the best way to do it is, I guess, in a way, keeping, yeah, yourself balanced. So I have like a, foot back and like a foot forward,
Hmm.
kind of like teed up in a way, and then try my best to gauge where this person's gonna go.
That does make sense because you're analyzing the opponent, but you also have to like be centered yourself. So if you're centered, whatever they do, no matter what, you should be able to automatically react to it because you're centered. Because if you're not centered, then whatever they do could just set you off balance, or well, you're off balance already, right? So it'll just knock you down,
Mm-hmm.
or it will lead to something terrible happening, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
like disarming someone too is very similar in in that way. Like I know when it comes to like blades or knives, such and such, usually you attempt to redirect that enemy, get them off balance, and then somehow disarm them while somehow getting behind them. If
Mm.
you're able to get out of the peripheral vision, this is the best scenario possible.
Skill.
Yo,
Skill.
listen,
I might
man.
have to have you give the podcast audience a class on redirecting energy and disarming because
I'm
that
gonna
sounds like
need
a
some.
cool idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some martial artists in the comments. Yo, listen, you have any like tips or tricks, please send them our way. Because I'm trying to learn too. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I was thinking about taking a class, but I don't know. I don't really have time for classes right now. So when
Yeah.
I do get the time to do classes, I might consider like, oh, maybe one day just pull up the. I wanted to do kickboxing. I did kind of want to try taekwondo, but I don't know. It's never too late to try anything. You know what I'm saying? You could do this when you're 60 years old. It doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
for me, it's just about giving it a shot. Let's move on to the next one though. So
Mm.
this one's about Toriyama. So this is Dragon Ball related, and this is you're probably gonna know the answer to this already. So
Mm.
has Toriyama ever forgotten about Dragon Ball characters?
I feel like he has.
The answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
But he literally confirmed it too. It's not
Please
as if
confirm
people
it.
were just assuming, oh, I forgot. No, he literally confirmed because I forgot, not forgot, but when I was watching, I was like, wait, whatever happened to Launch?
I knew it. Oh yeah, that was the one. That was the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
whatever happened to Launch? Like she was there for quite a bit, a long period of time. Doing things in Dragon Ball and being Launch and sneezing and destroying everybody with pistols and machine guns
Hmm.
and having this super aggressive. She reminded me of like somebody with Tourette's, but like, and then as soon as she like sneezes, she's just back to a normal person. It's hilarious to me.
I I know exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll just start
Yeah, I
cursing and
know.
start getting aggressive for no reason, and but that aggression is not just them audibly like saying it, because that's usually what Tourette's is. It's just audible. I
Hmm.
think so. I'm not too sure. I'm not
Well,
familiar with
with like the
with like random spurts of cursing and
yeah, like the tick that usually
yeah,
happens where they just yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's, but I don't think that's. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong here, but I don't know if that directly relates to or correlates to action. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
you could have a tick that has you say this, say that, whatever, but does that actually translate to you doing whatever you're gonna do, or you know you're angry all of a sudden, so are you actually gonna act on that anger? That's my question. And I,
There's there's some that click their tongue, I think, sometimes. So like maybe there's some sort of correlation between action, but I don't know if it's action towards someone
towards
else.
somebody else, it's more like them trying to control them because they already know that they're in that state, so they're trying to control it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah, me neither am I. So I I don't know. Curious. Let us know in the comments if you know. But interesting. It related to launch though. She is one of the ones that he did forget. But it's not just people. It's in terms of like storytelling and some sort of power mechanics that are involved. Obviously, Dragon Ball power mechanics kind of just transform over the period of the entire show. We go from you know all these different skills and martial arts to Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 and then Super Saiyan 4
hmm
and but then there's other transformations that are also involved with other characters. You know, Frieza has his regular form, but then he has his um, second form, which is the one with the big gigantic looking like alien from Aliens, right? And then you got the third form. I think was the semi brolic one,
mm.
and then the fourth form I think was the final form, or was it the fifth form? I don't remember how many forms, but it's a lot of forms. So I'm just thinking about all of that, right? He has admittedly reported saying that he forgot about Super Saiyan 2. Like he forgot it even existed. He was like, "Oh, I mean, not like forgot it existed, but like he forgot to like incorporate that within his storytelling almost." So there would be times where people they would just transform and they would transform straight into Super Saiyan 2 and not the do you remember the other Super Saiyan, the one where it was uh I'll call it the uncontrolled Super Saiyan. I forgot the name of it. There's an actual name for it.
Oh wait.
You know the one where they're extra brolic.
Mm.
They have all that power, but they lose out on other things, and they don't have the speed. They don't have everything that they used to have because they're just so big, right? But then the condensed form of it, which is the more that actually is the more control version. That condensed or control version is not even Super Saiyan 2 because Super Saiyan 2 isn't until Gohan transforms into Super Saiyan 2. So Super Saiyan 2 is not even until later on. So there's so many versions of Super Saiyan. You're like, wait, you know. So he has reportedly admitted, you know, losing track of that, and that did sort of lead to some inconsistent rules. But Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I have one question. What if he forgot about it because of the fact that it happens to look somewhat similar to regular Super Saiyan? Like, that's the only thing I can really think about is because every other transformation has like a unique, you know, thing to it. Whether it's okay, Super Saiyan 3, you got long ass hair like, all the way down, looking like a lion
Mm-hmm.
mane.
Mm-hmm.
You got Super Saiyan 4, okay, you're basically all red, black hair, like it's pretty noticeable, and you got a tail. Even Super Saiyan God and even Ultra Instinct, like
I
oh,
low key think that that's kind of why he had to change the colors for Super Saiyan Gods. He was like, I'm not getting confused again, never again.
honestly, I don't even blame him. I don't even
I don't
blame him
blame him
at
either
all. I
because it's
wouldn't
like
too.
you know you see so many yellow, it's so much yellow. You're like, wait, which one's which? You know, at
Yeah.
least with the Super Saiyan God, you could tell like, oh, this one's Super Saiyan God 1, this is Super Saiyan God 2, and then there's the transformation that happens between that is literally specific to Goku because it's Super Saiyan God with Kaioken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, all right, I can understand this. You know, I can see this because this one has it's 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 red with some or it's blue with some red. You know, like you
Yeah.
see it, huh? But yeah, it's the truth. And you know, it's not really like people really know this. They already know this, especially if you're a big fan of DBZ, because the this is something that I think I like to talk about as well in terms of fans usually keep the lore alive
Mm.
because even with writing a story, like I've mentioned on the podcast before, I've written a trilogy before. Just remembering like what you did or what you wrote in like the most simple detail in like the first book can be hard to do. Like you're probably not going to remember it. You there are still things I can't remember right now from my own story. And I'm like, wait, I wrote that, and I go back and reread it. I'm like, oh,
It's
I
like
I
oh,
did write that.
that concept. Oh wait, I gotta. Gotta bring it
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Like,
got to bring it. Yeah, like sometimes you're just breaking your own rules. That's why it's a little bit easier. This is a note for storytellers out there. If you're a storyteller, it it is a lot easier to take all your mechanics and put it onto a spreadsheet, or not even a spreadsheet, just an outline sheet of paper where you have all the different categories of whatever you need to describe, and you keep track of all your rules that way. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to know whether or not you broke that rule because you have them all there.
100%. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was a nice little fact. I definitely would agree that if I were in that position, I would for sure forget all those transformations.
And that's another thing I want to bring up in terms of One Piece, right? And we could, this is not really an aside. This is
Mm.
on the same note. Toriyama, not Toriyama. Well, Toriyama, he wrote Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is really long. It's like you have Dragon Ball, you have Dragon Ball Z, you have Dragon Ball, Super, you have GT technically, but Toriyama didn't. He wasn't like fully into it. Um, all of that adds up to what? I want to say like 500, maybe 600 episodes, really, if you put two and two together. Um, and then you look at One Piece, and you look at Oda, and you look at everything that he wrote, right? And it's
Mm.
like that's a lot of chapters, and all these different like lore interjecting, conjoining points that are so well written that stuff from the past that happened 1,000 episodes ago are somehow important now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he not forgotten? And it maybe he has. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lore people, lore experts. Has Oda ever forgotten a character? Has he ever forgotten something that he created? I feel like he has, but he's so skilled that nobody notices. That's what I think it
Honestly,
is.
there's no way with that many amount of characters in this entire universe. There's no way you haven't forgotten at least one. Like, I'm not saying like the designs are so unique to that character. It's great to tell apart, but at the same time, there's no way you didn't forget at least one because look at how many characters there are. We're talking about 9 to 10 characters on one ship.
I mean, you're gonna remember those characters, of
You're gonna
course.
remember those characters, right? Then you have how many characters on another ship, or like Whitebeard's crew, or Blackbeard's crew, or well, Buggy Pirates, or even freaking Law's crew, or Kid's crew, or Shank's crew, or Big Mom. Big Mom's got how many children again? What are we talking about, bro? I'm just saying. This man has created an entire family tree of trees.
It's it's bad.
It's
It's
really
so.
bad.
I mean, it's good. It's great.
It's
It's
great.
just like I'm going back. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, think about all the characters that we have encountered over the entire course of the show. Like, we don't even have to. You remember all? Do you remember all the characters from Alabasta?
Holy crap. Like I couldn't even remember that guy
Bro,
that almost got with the bomb, with the eagle, with the
yeah, it's like,
I couldn't even
and
remember
then
his name.
and then you got Mr. Two, and but who's nobody's ever gonna forget Mr. Two because Mr. Two is involved with a lot of the show, and he actually was part of the reason why they even escaped in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
there's an important, or was it Mr. Two, or Mr. Three?
You're talking about Bon Clay.
Yeah, Bon Clay. Yeah,
Yeah.
the boy. So like, you're not gonna forget Bon Clay, but you like all the other people that you might you might forget them. You're like you're thinking about it. You're like, who are these people?
And you go back and you're like, wait a minute. Yo, we might have to rewind real quick. We gotta rewind real
but that's the
quick.
problem. Like, that's why I'm really excited for this One Piece show that's going to be coming out. The One Piece, the one that to do for it's like a condensed new version, kind of like how, and we'll discuss this as what we should actually discuss this. How Super is being a revamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting redone. So it's getting redone. It's going to look so much nicer. Yeah, but they're also condensing it to make it more, enjoyable and less like fillery, and it's going to be more concise, right? So One Piece is getting that same treatment.
Yes.
How is that going to look, and is that going to are those characters still going to be there? Like, really think about that. Are those
Mm.
characters that are there right now, even though there's like so many of them, are they all going to be there? Is there going to be that one story that's getting left out? Is it not important? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, there's gotta be like there's one story about a freaking girl and a drag. What is it? One of those dragon things? I forgot what it was. It was some filler story.
oh, I think I know which story you're
You know
talking
what I'm
about.
talking
Yeah, I
about?
know what you're
Where
talking about. Yeah.
yeah,
Was this before or after the time skip?
this was definitely before the
Before the
time
time
skip
skip.
because this was when they were going to Log Town.
Yep, that. Yep,
You
you're
remember
correct.
that?
Oh wow,
Yeah. And she had the hat on, and yeah,
damn, that's a long time
yeah,
ago.
long. I had to go deep into my files. Deep into
Deep
my
into my
files.
files is crazy.
Lee.
I mean, there are people who just they literally consume nothing but One Piece, so I'm sure they know they have all this information. Like I don't know if you know this, but there's people who just watch shows just to watch shows like that. If it's their favorite show, they'll just go back and watch it or watch it like every week.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm back on the 17th time going through One Piece, and it's like that's a lot of hours, brother.
That's a lot of hours.
I'm the type of person when I do rewatches, and I think I told this to you before. I just skim. I do skims. So
Mm.
I skim through the stuff that I don't really consider to be really riveting or important, and I watch the stuff that I consider to be important. I like if I'm rewatching One Piece, you're gonna see me. I'm not. There's no way I'm skipping. There's no way I'm skipping Enies Lobby. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way I'm skipping Luffy almost getting destroyed by and getting killed on the execution platform, but getting saved
Mm-hmm.
right by his dad. You know, there's I'm not gonna skip really important scenes, but I will skip the ones that I just don't care about. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'd rewatch or do my rewatches. The same thing with Dragon Ball. Same thing with all the really long ones. If it's something like a show that's like it has like 4 seasons and they're all 12 episodes, I'll watch them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But long running series, there's just too many episodes,
It's
brother.
like, damn.
Too many episodes.
Gotta go deep into their files and then try to find out which one is important.
Yeah,
It's like, dog, no. I mean, yes, but no at the
but
same
no.
time. Like, I don't have that time anymore, dog. I wish I could, but I don't have that time no more.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I
Mm.
know we were talking about that for a bit, but we'll move on to the next one. All right,
Mm.
you know ReZero, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's a lot of reasons to know ReZero. We could talk about ReZero for a while, but simply because it's an isekai, but it's an isekai that does something that's a little bit different than normal isekais. You are thrown into a world where you die, and if you die, you get sent back to your checkpoint, and you just keep going back to your checkpoint until you pass the next checkpoint. It's like playing a video game almost. It's like a true video game
Mm.
realistically, except you're feeling the pain, you're feeling the suffering, and you're going through this, and you're having that mental blockage as well. You're going through the mental strain. So the reason why I'm bringing Subaru up, right, is because he was written to be unlikable intentionally.
I
That's
mean, that
that's
makes sense.
that's the fact. Because it makes sense though, right? But the reason why he was written that way was to make us feel that pain, and feel through him what it's like to think that you're a hero, but you're really not. You know what I mean? That you think that you're reincarnated and you're so great, you're so bold, you're the bold and the strong, and you're gonna do everything. You're gonna save the princess. You're gonna win, and when you win, you're gonna get rewarded. Uh, but no, that's not how it works, buddy. That's
No,
not how that's not how real life fantasy works, buddy. No,
no.
we're gonna show you how it's really done. You're gonna die, and you're gonna die again, and you're gonna die again, and again, and again, and again, and you're gonna keep dying until you finish the checkpoint.
Nothing but pure anguish and frustration and destruction. Like, this is straight up how I feel while playing some like Dark Souls game or like some things
Thank you.
exactly how you feel. You be getting frustrated at yourself, at the game itself. And he's just sitting there, he's like, yo, I'm frustrated at this life and my decisions and it. He's lost in La La Land. I'm telling you, he's at least lost his mind a good 3 separate
Oh,
times.
100%, guaranteed.
Dude, you know how crazy that would be to consistently be dying the same time? You have the same exact pain, the same exact terrible experiences, or you lose someone and you can't save them. The mental toll that I would be like, yo, just end this now, man.
just
We're
just
just
end this now. Take me out of this game
actually
right now.
better yet, I'll do you
I'll
one
do you one
better.
better.
Let me just
Let me end it for
let me
myself
end it
right
for
now.
myself. Like, no, it's
It,
just too much.
it it's sad. It's but it's a good ReZero did take a long break, and then they
Mm-hmm.
came back with a season, and then I was like, and then they came back with another season, but they had a long break in between. I forgot. I don't know if it was COVID or something like that, but
Mm.
either way, did you see the last season? The most recent?
The most recent I haven't finished yet, but
Okay.
I did
You
see the
should
one before that.
you should see the most recent one only because I think it does kind of give Subaru some more redeeming qualities. And I do agree that, despite this statement being true about him potentially being written terribly so that way you could dislike him, um, is so that way you can join him for the ride of his hero complex, but then see everything, every complex that he has is broken down, and then he has character development to develop into somebody who really is a hero. So, excuse me, I think that Subaru later on in the series, next season, and the season after that, and the season after that, whatever, however many seasons there are, he's gonna show us what a true hero is. I mean, he's done it already, but like we're gonna see him actually develop into somebody who is likable, who is somebody who we want to be like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's my take on it, but I don't know if you agree.
No, I definitely agree. We started him at level 1 with no items and absolutely zero understanding of the world, and then he's starting to develop and go through trials and tribulations. That's what we like to see.
Getting dogged in the process.
Absolutely walloped.
Damn.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think his growth works. Like I think it's just one of those things where you're proud to see him make it through. Like whenever you see him go through pain and suffering, you feel for him. Even though you might dislike him in the beginning, you really feel for him. You're like, damn, I feel bad for this guy. And then when you
Hmm.
see him finally, start to win and do some things, and then while he's winning, he ends up losing again. Then it's like, oh darn, he was on a roll. But
Yeah.
we saw that coming. Oh, and then there's Rem and Ram and everything that happened with Rem and her memories, and it's like just when it was getting good.
Rem had no Ram, though. Rem had no Ram.
Rem had no Rem had no Rem. Ram had no Rem. She was gone. Best girl? I don't know.
Oh,
Okay, so this next one here, I think is gonna not ruffle some feathers, but I do want to bring this conversation up simply because it has to do with Naruto and specifically Kakashi. So Kakashi was, and correct me if I'm wrong here,
hmm.
but I think this is correct. Kakashi was originally written as a totally different teacher. He was more strict. He was considered to be an emotional barrier. He was going to cause problems for Naruto and the rest of Team 7. He was going to be almost that teacher that you just don't like.
Hmm.
Now, look on the flip side. Kakashi is beloved. That character is glory, godsend. And for good reason. He's that generation, which our generation, that generation's Gojo, basically.
Hmm.
He was always likable from the start in the anime. But looking back and seeing what he originated from, do you think do you think that he would have been better off that way?
Better off more strict? No, 100% not. I think it doesn't really match him in a way, or
But what
match.
do you mean by not match him? Because this is just assuming that
Sorry,
he's not assuming that he's new, assuming that he's getting introduced to you,
you're right.
right? Yeah.
Definitely been approaching this wrong. Um, I still would say no, though. Main
Okay.
reason why I would still say no is because at the end of the day, you look at that group. You look at Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura.
Right. Right.
Each one of them needed a Kakashi in their life. It needed a jokester, someone that was, able to have fun but be serious at the same time. That duality, because one, we see that in Naruto, where he's fun and the number one prankster type of ninja, and then we also see the seriousness in Sasuke. They both needed that for character development. They both needed those different sides because Naruto needed to understand the seriousness of his situation when it comes to being a Jinchuriki and being, a young ninja growing up, understanding that I'm in a situation that honestly isn't ideal and I need to take the necessary precautions to make sure I'm safe along with obtaining my dream. Sasuke, he needed to know that, hey, don't get me wrong, you went through some shit, some deep shit. However, there's more to life and more to the shinobi way rather than just going strictly for revenge. And he didn't fucking listen.
No.
He didn't listen.
No.
Nah. He wanted to do his own thing. Be like, yo, I'm Sasuke. Yeah, I got that drip on. I'm cool, dog. I got a fresh cut and everything. No, you don't. Your cut is whack. Your fit garbage. Your sword did nothing. You got destroyed by a rapper.
Damn.
By a rapper.
Damn.
With your squad with you. And you still got wiped. How does that feel?
Damn.
How does that feel? Hmm?
Bro got destroyed.
Absolutely destroyed multiple times.
By a rapper is crazy.
By a rapper. But I'm not a rapper though. No, you are. See, this is what I'm talking about, man.
That's the wrong number.
I'm sorry. But you got washed. You know you got washed too.
Oh,
You
man.
know you did.
Yo.
Stupid. I just felt like he went down a terrible path. And he just did it for the wrong reasons. Like I get it. You
So
wanted revenge.
So you think that? Do you think that if Kakashi was more strict, Sasuke would never have gone down that path?
No, I think
You think he still would have went?
being more strict would have done the opposite. Like you know how you're a stricter parent, and all of a sudden now it causes you to do more things. You start to listen for footsteps, even though they're like, I don't know, 10 to 20 feet away.
Yep.
Listening for the footsteps when they open the door. You can tell who it is based off of how much pressure they put on the step.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking
I
about.
do that all the time.
Do it all
I know
the
exactly
time.
who's walking and where they're walking because I know exactly how they move.
Yep, where they move, how they move, which step they did.
I feel like a ninja.
Like we know this down to the T.
I feel like a ninja, bro.
So if you do that to Sasuke, I think
You think it's going to be even more?
It was going to be worse.
Yeah.
It was going to be worse because at least Kakashi showed one, not some favoritism, but more of like he felt closer to him because of Sharingan and also with Obito, knowing that there's someone else from the Uchiha clan that he is now teaching and can be a part of, and then also the fact that he's been able to pass on some good techniques to him. Okay, seeing your work, be filtered out. Sorry, not filtered out. Kind of pushed forward through the next generation and utilized would be a master's, greatest accomplishment. Like seeing it flourish throughout your student. Okay, you got Chidori. Now you implemented it and made it your own, and now you're like spreading it across like it's like a fucking spider web, or infusing it in your sword. We'd love to see that, but what we don't want to see is your ass pulling up our Naruto like, yo, what's up, man? After like how many years acting like you hard as shit. You're not hard, my guy. You're soft. You've been soft since the day one. Since day one. When Itachi pulled you up and said you're weak, you don't have enough hatred.
Bro's been weak.
He was right.
Bro's been weak from the start.
He was right.
You gonna put that back on?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this back on. Sorry. He just like, I don't know. I loved the fact that he was, I loved his powers, and I loved, Chidori. I loved the Amaterasu, everything that he's obtained. I just didn't like the way he went about it. It just threw me way off. So, yeah, I feel like Kakashi definitely, his personality and his character is fine the way it is.
I agree. I think that him being another wall, or I guess antagonistic force, would have just been, I won't say a waste of growth, because he grew even with Kakashi, and you could tell, even with Kakashi being who he is now in the anime, and he was able to grow. Like, he had immense growth, and Kakashi was his first master, right? So, well, not his first master, his second master, because technically Iruka's his first master. The growth that happens with Kakashi is really important, and I don't think it would be any more growth if Kakashi was more strict, because he was already strict to begin with. But he was more like, not really playful strict, but he kind of gave them, you know how that saying where like, they give you enough rope, you choose what to do with it. You either hang yourself or you do this, whatever. He, with the rope that he had, he did what he needed to do. So I think you're right. I think he would have been better off the way he is now, and that extra antagonistic force. Damn, that's a jumble. It would be unnecessary because Naruto already had so many antagonistic forces. He had so many things after him. Like, Sasuke was considered an antagonistic force, maybe not in the beginning, but he became one. Then you have, you have the Akatsuki, and then you have everybody else after that fact. But even before the Akatsuki, there was, Zabuza. Like there was enough antagonistic forces that we didn't need Kakashi to be the extra one.
He
You know
was
what I mean?
on a swing, bro.
Bro was on a swing.
On them swings for
He
15
he
years.
he was handicapped for years, for years, brother.
Oh,
All right, let me get on to this next one, which is funny because we're going from Naruto to Bleach now. It's like I feel like we're reliving last episode. Last episode was all villains, but
mm.
this one's specifically about Ichigo though, and I feel like multiple people have made these takes, but when I looked at it and I really thought about it, I was like, oh, this is like the most 100% correct thing that I never really thought of. Ichigo, his identity crisis is the entire plot of Bleach.
uh, I have a deep fucking dive.
I know you have a lot to say, but before you say it, okay, the reason why this is such a like this was mind blowing to me, but at the same time, it's like not because I already knew. It's just that when you hear it said as like a fact, it's like you're right because it's it's not all about the fights. It's more about him belonging, trying to find out like who he is because he's he's a human. All of a sudden he's struggling because he's a soul reaper. Then he's struggling now because he's at Hollow. And now he's struggling again because he's a Quincy. So which one? There's literally nothing but identity crisis throughout the entirety of the show from start to finish.
Bro, he had a fight within himself. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing. He had a fight within himself. He fought with his inner hollow. He fights with his own freaking weapon. He fights with you about that tech. I mean, hey, spoiler, but
I
like
just I,
regardless,
I just I
like
just say Yawak because
sorry, whatever.
I
I
don't
can't
even know what
pronounce
his
that
name
name.
is, but spoiler, no spoiler. That guy,
Um,
he's German. So
I just I find it very funny. Like he's one of the very few people where, few main characters that I notice he just struggles like within himself
the most,
the most because of
the
the fact
most.
that he didn't know whether or not what to do with the power that he obtained. He was like, no, I'm just here to protect my family and that's it. I'm not gonna protect a regular stranger. Then he ended up developing that. Then he got to a point where he needed to develop instinct because originally he was just swinging his sword, saying like, basically bluffing as much as possible, thinking that he has endless power. No, he needed to develop that instinct. Then the next thing he needed was the ability to understand that yes, you do love to fight. You innately love to fight, even though there are things that you want to protect. You also like to fight and to win. There's something wrong with that fact. It's just that you needed to understand that's part of your reason to protect. I mean, think about it. When you go into a fight, like with a random person, your initial reaction might be to try to win the fight and then protect your own. You think that you're protecting your own by winning,
So you're saying like random fight stranger on the street kind of thing, where you're trying to survive almost.
or you're trying to survive. And that's with no one there. Now, picture someone there. Excuse me. You put someone there. Now you have to worry about a lot of different factors. Is this person going to be in the way? Are they going to be hit by a stray attack?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to bring them to safety? And then when I bring them to safety, do I have to now retaliate against the attacker because they will not stop? When you go with those stressors, when those stressors are hitting you nonstop, there's no way you're sitting there like, nah. I'm just here trying to run away, trying to protect. No, you have power, my guy. You have power, so use it.
You
I'm not.
have
Don't
power.
abuse it. Just use it. You sitting there like, shoot, I don't know what to do, man. Shoot, I don't know who I am. I'm like,
But and that's the funny thing because all the power spikes that he gets are literally only when he finds out who he is or he sees himself as what he wants to be, and then all of a sudden that's when he gets the power spike. It's funny because it's like, oh, training this, training that, training does help a little bit, but at the end of the day, his energy and his power increase only when he figures out who the hell he is.
That's
That's the only time.
yeah. When he only time that happens when he figure out who he is or what he exactly wants to do, or like if he's very determined. Like okay, we saw him get a whole donut in the middle of his chest,
Ukiora.
absolutely walloped, and then
Ukiora destroyed that.
he's like, "No, I gotta get up. I gotta protect the Oima. I gotta do it. I got like he had purpose for his fight. When he feels as though he doesn't have any purpose because of the fact that he doesn't know what to do, then he's just sitting there. Yeah, I'm just sinking in the ocean of whatever the hell was going on right now.
Depression.
Depression,
I call
oh,
it depression.
anxiety, such and such. Like that's basically been him the entire time. Like whenever he sulks
That's true.
hard. So
That's true. But you agree with the statement though, right? What I just said.
100%. It's a whole identity crisis. He didn't know who he was from the freaking jump. When he saw that he could, I mean, when he heard that he could, or heard that he could, experience that he could see ghosts.
Hmm.
Okay, you're seeing ghosts as a regular human. That was already the first trigger. Like, yo, something happened because like he didn't know that he was seeing ghosts when he was a kid, and then he puts the blame on himself for his mother's death. So he's already like, yo, am I a freak of nature? What's wrong with me? Am I just killing everyone or something? Or should I be left alone or something? Like he already puts the blame on himself from the jump. So you have an identity crisis from within the family. Then,
True.
as a human,
Also true.
as a Soul Reaper,
Hmm.
as a Hollow,
And as a Quincy.
as a Quincy.
Oh man.
God damn.
Like, and it's so he's gotta be the main character that has the most within him because you look at all the other characters, right? Yeah, Goku, he finds out he's a Saiyan. Okay, that's it. After that, it's just evolution within Saiyans. Naruto, right? You find out that he's a Jinchuriki. Cool. He utilizes the Jinchuriki's power, but not everything else besides that point is him basically just using hard work to earn whatever he needed. The Jinchuriki did help out, but he had an absurd amount of chakra to begin with because he's an Uzumaki. Cool. That's it. He's an Uzumaki. He has Jinchuriki. That's it. He becomes a sage. Cool, but it wasn't set in stone that he was going to become a sage, right? And then you have what am I missing? You have Fairy Tail. You have Natsu, right? He's the son of a dragon, but he's really not. Like he's a dragon slayer. Okay, he's a dragon slayer. What else? You know what I'm saying? Like Ichigo's the only one where I could name 4 different things, and I'm like, wait, which one is he? Oh, he's just all of them. he's just
It's just a
he's just all of them.
combination of like just everything possible, like your whole machinations, I guess. Like that's literally what I see it as, honestly.
Luffy, like he's Joy Boy. Yeah,
It's like
but it's
okay,
all stemming from a fruit, guys.
that
One singular fruit. That's it. Oh, he's got the D. He's the son of dragon. Okay,
okay, all
you know
right,
what I mean?
but that's
He's
it.
still
Still,
he's still human. I
still human,
don't know.
still a pirate.
It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, Ichigo's definitely the only one I could think of where it's like where it's like, whoa, buddy, you got everything.
So it's like just calm down, all right.
You
You
got
made
everything.
you don't have to be just one. You just be all right. Just understand it's a part of you. That's it.
Be all.
Should be all.
Oh man. All right. So this one here, I'm going to bring this up only because I think I never really thought about it too much until and we're gonna use One Piece for this. Yeah, One Piece fans, I guess you'll be happy about this. Whatever. Anime openings are they or do they ever create anime openings before the show is finished? Before the
Yes.
season of the show is finished?
Yes. It's
The
quite
answer is freaking yes.
yes. They do it all the time. You always see like some shadowy figure that you don't even know who it is.
Or you
And
see who it is and whatever they're doing just doesn't happen.
yeah, or whatever they're doing just doesn't happen. I remember I know exactly which opening you're
You
talking
know
about
exactly
too.
the prime example I'm about to use.
Hmm.
That one, I don't even know the opening number, but I just know for a fact. It's like you have an opening in One Piece, right? You have Luffy fighting Akainu. You have Zoro fighting, who was he fighting?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if it was Fujitora
Fuji. I think it
or
might have been.
or somebody else, and you have Sanji fighting.
Yeah, it was Fujitora. It
Yeah,
was
Fujitora.
Fujitora.
You have Sanji fighting Kizaru, right?
Mm.
That was like decades ago, bro. And the opening shows this. The opening has them all fighting, and you're like, oh snap, this fight is gonna happen this season, bro. We're about to see the craziest fight in the world.
Nothing. I think that was like opening 15. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like that just pissed me off. I'm like, y'all had them all dripped out, every single one of them, and their colors matched to kind of like what they do in a way, I guess, somewhat. But like, come on, man. That was like one of the few times I looked at it and I was like, yo, who's their stylist? Who's their stylist right now? We find out. We find out who their stylist is. All right,
They were
who
dripped
made
out,
their
ready to
clothes?
scrap, and we didn't
Hmm.
even get to see not even a second
Hmm. I was like, yo,
of any of this fight.
get him in a fighting game.
I
Get
was
him
like,
in Street
yo,
Fighter,
what are we
Tekken,
doing?
something.
But that's only one example. That's the only example that I think made me upset, where it was like, oh wow, damn, it's not happening. But there's many examples throughout the entirety of that show and other shows. It's a little bit harder to make those mistakes when you're doing a show that's only 12 episodes or 24 episodes.
Hmm.
Usually 24 episode shows, they have a split where there's an opening for the beginning of the first 12 episodes of the show, and there's another opening for the second half. Like Kingdom, for example, that was one show that had a 26 split, and there was like one opening for the half.
Hmm.
So shows do that, and when they do that, they kind of have an idea of what's going to happen in the season, anyways. So they kind of just they put it out there. I think what really pissed me off about that opening is that y'all already knew this fight wasn't happening anytime soon. You have the manga. like what are we doing here, guys? Come on. Why are we putting it in here? You're just trying to give us some food for thought and not actually give us the juices.
Hmm.
So that's how I feel. Um, do you think that do you think that they're ever going to change that sort of, not process, but in terms of making openings that there's openings that do spoil and there's openings that don't spoil, because you make the opening seem like it's going to happen but it doesn't. So do you think that they're going to change anything?
No, they're not gonna really change anything because it somehow creates some anticipation for that season. Even though you're kind of in a way like leading people on because they're like, oh wait a minute, this is about to happen, but it ends up just falling short or maybe just not having an interaction at all.
Mm-hmm.
It it sucks, but it is a way to kind of grab people in for that season. I will say. I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely hyped when that happened
I was
because
hyped.
exactly that happened. Was that on Dressrosa? I think that was Dressrosa,
It
right?
might have been Dressrosa, because we at that
Dressrosa.
point we I think we met Fujitora already, so we already saw him, or we were just about to meet him when that opening started. I don't remember exactly, but
Hmm.
I do think that there was some relation with Fujitora there, and fighting Zoro, and
Okay.
I was like, damn, this fight actually gonna happen or what? You know?
Yeah. Um, I'd say they're probably gonna keep the same technique. Just try their best to hopefully have everything the same, but I don't think it's gonna be that easy. If that makes sense. Like, mm, I'd rather just have them make it 1-to-1. That way, I'm not anticipating anything to happen. But it's too many openings sometimes, and they're just like, you know what? For the sake of visuals, let's for the sake of anticipation, let's just do this. But
I have one more for you before we end for today.
hmm,
This question here: do you think that fan expectations for a specific manga and or light novel can cause studios to pass up animations?
okay, now this conversation is gonna be heated. I
Maybe.
do think that's the case because I will say, you know, Japan has now not catered, but they've gained a big wide audience, not just in Japan, obviously, but in other Asian countries, and then also specifically in the West, here in the US. So there's a lot of things that have to be taken into account when it comes to the pressure that we put on these animators and these creators when it comes to certain series. We see a lot of times that there's a drop in quality, and that comes with the pressure that we're trying to put onto them to make a good product. Now, I'm not gonna say, hey, that just means, hey, like, hey, you just do whatever you want, guys. Just create a, some terrible animation just for the, the fuck of it. Don't do that. Put some put forth some effort to at least show that you actually care about this project, right?
Mm.
Don't be too hard on yourself to the point where now you have to make everything perfect, like perfection.
That's why I think their studios are scared.
That's why I think they're scared, because they're looking for something to be so perfect, and that's a problem when you pumping out so many animes in abundance like this, right? They're so focused on how it looks
Mm.
rather than how the plot is done, the characters, how they're flushed out, whether or not we're just reusing characters from another story and just painting them a different color. Like I've seen that so many times where,
It's happened before. Even background NPCs, which is okay.
yeah,
You've seen background NPCs used throughout different anime, like just randomly walking around. You're like, wait, isn't that the same?
like the
Isn't that the
literally
same student from the last anime I was watching last year?
copy and paste, and I'm looking at
Copy
it
paste,
like,
which is
what
it's like
you?
it's fine, it's whatever. As long as you get everything right.
Yeah, like see, background, fine, whatever. Like you can do whatever. But when it comes to the characters,
Hmm.
don't you want to feel a little unique, and rather than just, standardized from, okay, we're just 12-episode anime, like we're gonna get this guy to MC some short black hair and then call it a fucking day. No, no, bring back an MC that had some wild ass hair that looks crazy, uncombed, unkept, with some wild color. Like, yeah, give me someone with some green, short, spiky hair. Yeah, I don't care. Because at least that draws in people.
Mm.
The main reason why it draws in people is because now you're like, wait a minute, why the hell is his hair green? Let me just go and find out. Even if you don't like the fact that his hair green, let me go find out why the hell his hair is green. I'm just saying. Like you think people looked at freaking Dragon Ball when it came out and they're like, yo, what is the shape of this guy's hair?
I think many people have looked at it, they were like, I'm a little confused here, but it was probably intriguing for them.
That's what I'm saying. They at least want to find out. So you need to create that want within the customer. And that includes the animation. It doesn't have to be pitch perfect. Just make it decent enough. You have to include the character development. You have to include the plot. You have to include a decent story that has a good message to connect with your peers and your viewers.
I'm wondering if the studios themselves, the ones who are scared and the ones who do pass up opportunities, are doing so only because they know that it's very highly likely for them to make a mistake, and that mistake they know for a fact is going to be like really really bad in terms of the community, in terms of their reflection on them and how that turns out. Because just look at what's happening with the studios doing One Punch Man right now. It's like you picked up One Punch Man and you're not having a great time. you know
Yeah.
so I think I could see where going forward, and even from now in the past, there are studios that are like, yeah, sorry guys, but that probably belongs in the hands of Mappa, or that
Yeah.
probably belongs in the hands of Studio Ghibli. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just thinking of certain manga that are going to be adapted, and like who would do it best. Low key, we probably should have an episode like that where we talk about manga that we'd like to see adapted. But here's the problem: I don't really read new manga too often. It's usually manga of stuff that's already going on in the animation realm.
Mm.
Um, so I'd have to probably like explore that just to even see if that's even possible. But yeah, in the comments, you want to let us know, give us some suggestions, some recommendations in terms of manga that we could read, just to talk about, just to see if they are worth the big screen.
Yeah. And do not recommend me a no, hey yo, my little sister got reincarnated as a pillow. All right, I'm gonna throw that shit away. I promise you that.
Damn,
Okay?
I didn't even know that. Is that a show?
That probably
That
is
probably
one.
might be a show.
Reincarnated as pillow. I
Yeah, no.
provide some comfort and I don't know. shop on Zillow. Like I don't fucking
That's
know, bro.
crazy.
Like no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, isekais. I feel like they're worn on me. I don't know. I don't know if you agree with. I feel like isekais. There's a few where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch them for sure. But like any new isekais these days, I'm like, all right, guys, you have to really do something to really catch my attention because
Yeah.
y'all are all the same now.
Yeah, at this point, y'all are the same overpowered reincarnated person meets some, you know, goddess that gives them their powers, and then just all of a sudden, now it's trying to recreate the whole landscape, or that they're basically just changing the world some, or maybe fight the demon lord again. Like,
For
dog,
like the 50th time.
please
Oh
change it up
jeez.
for the love of the Lord.
Oh
Please change it
man.
up.
Now you're correct. All right, y'all. It's been a good episode. We will catch you in the next one. Anime
Indeed,
intervention out. Deuces, brother.
catch you.